Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you tonight for this next movie review, and this is an official 2024 movie for One More Shot, the Scott Adkins sequel to the One Shot movie that I got a chance to listen to see what I was going to think of this movie. Sorry, I was burping because I just ate food and had dinner. So, I'm going to discuss what I watched for this hour and 43-minute movie and let you know my thoughts on this movie overall. So let's dive into this movie review. Now, basically, Scott Adkins is still badass in this movie with the action scenes, but with this one, I felt it was a little weaker than the first one. The first one was still really strong. It was one of my favorites, in my opinion. This one is a tad bit weaker. Not terrible, but it's good. It just has its problems. Like, some of the action sequences are pretty dope, but it's the dialogue. It tends to fluctuate itself, with how the story's turning out, and basically the script of the movie. And some of the performances, there's some girl that plays Lomax kind of, I don't know, I wasn't feeling for her character, personally. Her character didn't interest me too much. So, with what I watched with this film, I think this film was good. It's still a good film, but there are some execution flaws with how each scene is playing out, and I think the guy that was the Marshall guy or whatever, I don't remember his name, technically, that guy, Tom Berenger is his name. His performance was fine, but it had its moments where I wasn't feeling for it too much. But the one that played Lomax was the one, her character didn't really interest me. And Scott Adkins' action scenes and his mixed martial arts in this film are quite outstanding. Still has it, still kicking ass, for sure. And I was really impressed with what I watched with most of the movie. But like I said, there are some execution flaws with the movie. Like, you got some of the premise and some of the dialogue that kind of is slim to nothing. And just the storyline has its hit or miss moments with its execution, like I said. It's like when you get to the first half of the movie, it feels like a slow dud. And then you start getting interested in some of the movie, and then it kind of goes a little flat later on. And then the movie kind of fluctuates in an okay way to end the film. So, pretty much with what I watched with One More Shot, it was a good movie, but it wasn't one of my favorites, in my opinion. I think the first one was better, if I'm being honest. It was, in my opinion, the best one. This one, if I were to give it a score, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good film, but I think the performances, there are good performances and weak performances with this film. But execution-wise, this movie did good in its own way. Still not one of my favorite movies this year, but it's a good film for what it is, action sequence-wise. And some of the story is interesting, but it's not interesting enough to keep me on my seat to really appreciate the movie too much. But I would still commend it for its action sequences because they are pretty badass. So, 8 out of 10 for One More Shot, the 2024 movie. Hopefully you enjoyed this new movie review. The next movie review will be ISS, and then so on and so forth. Miller's Girl after that, and like I said, so on and so forth. But with that being said, 8 out of 10 for this movie. thanks for watching this movie review tonight.